Evening, Terry. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'd just like to apologise to all of you. They did ask Eddie Hall to come, but he's too busy tonight, so you got lumbered with me.
Oh, not at all, not at all. Now, that picture, just before we get into it, the one at the end, you look very, very well lubricated there. Where was that?
Yeah, that was one of the bodybuilding shows I did. It was a kind of little bit odd for me, coming from a background of constantly trying to lift heavy weights to then posing on a stage in my pants and oiled up and fake tanned and everything else. It's a bit of a difference, but it was a good challenge.
We're not doing that tonight. We're not going to do that, no.
Maybe later.
Amy has asked if she could help lubricate you, Amy, wherever she is, but I don't think we've got enough spray, mate. So no. So we'll do that next time. Look, we're here to talk about, of course, your strongman career, but you've done so much. You've been a very busy man. I've just been struggling to get hold of you. You've, I don't know, photo shoots, arm wrestling, all sorts of things. But we know you as one of the UK's most favourite strongmen. So look, come on, where do we start? I'm a big rugby fan. You're a rugby man as well, weren't you? But you started strongman about that time. So let's go back. Where did you start your competition stuff?
Yeah, so, I mean, a little bit just about me as a person, just try and be as quick as I can. I was always a keen sportsman as a youngster. I was heavily into judo. When I was really young, I raced BMXs as well, oddly.
BMX, did you say?
Yeah, BMXs, yeah. When I was doing judo, I was bronze medalist at the British Championships as a junior. So, you know, that sort of started my sporting journey. I was extremely competitive as a child, was very large as well, which obviously helped in some of the sports. I then moved into rugby, played right from 8 years old up until I was a young adult. I was playing professionally at Harlequins for 3 years. I then came to the end of my contract, which was like a development contract. Went and played in New Zealand for a couple of years, came back and was a little bit disillusioned with it. So I stumbled across a website which was called ukstrongman.com, doesn't exist anymore.
We stumble on websites often, don't we?
Not that I was looking at anything weird, obviously. No, in all
looking for a
seriousness,
strong man.
Yeah, looking at muscle bears, that's what they're called, isn't it? Yeah, but no, anyway, stumbled across a site, saw there was a competition just down the road, and thought, you know what, I'm pretty big and strong and fairly fit, I'll just go and do it, be fun, and went down, won the competition. It was just a beginner's one. A couple of weeks later, I did South of England, Strongest Man come second. Went to England, Strongest Man came second. Went to UK's, won that. Went to World's Strongest Man, and that was all in the space of 7 months. So it wasn't a goal to be competing at World's Strongest Man, but I did always love it, watching it on a TV as a kid, and I just had a gift.
So you're up and running now. You're in the strongman world, and you know. I grew up watching it, you know, all the big household names that we'll know of. So you're sort of our modern day Jeff Capes, dare I say. You know, you've been in this industry a long time. But so you started doing a bit of strongman, but you know, in all professional sports, being in it but actually being good at it is a big difference. So you know, talk about some moments where you really started to get traction in the sport.
Yes, I mean, I think that much as I've not done strongman, it was when I went into it. A lot of the guys have trained for years just specifically for that, and I was very fortunate. Although I hadn't trained for that, I'd done a lot of obviously training for my rugby. I was extremely fit and strong, and you know, I'd spent a lot of time focused on those sort of things. So I perhaps didn't have the specific strengths in like areas, but I did have the athleticism and everything that I needed. So and obviously I'm larger than average to start with as well. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I went to my first World's Strongest Man, and it was kind of weird because there was a few of us that were new that year, and they're all talking, they're like, oh my God, there's Marius Pujanovski, oh my God, there's Yanni Vertinen. And for any of you that don't know, Marius won World's Strongest Man 5 times, Yanni Vertinen was a couple of times, absolute legends of the sport, and I was just not overawed by it, because I'm like, these guys, much as I've seen them on TV, they're not my heroes. My heroes are all rugby players, so I think some of the guys almost put themselves in a position where they were lost immediately, and I kind of wasn't. I'm here to compete. I'm here to try and make the final, and it was a good experience. I mean, very different. I only had one sort of odd moment, whereas just about to do my first event at World's Strongest Man, and they're going down the line. We're all lined up to do our first event, and the cameras come in and they're introducing us all one at a time in Chinese as well, which I can't even remember what.
Not easy.
Telly was not Terry, but yeah. Anyway, they're coming down the line and putting the camera in our face, and I had this moment. Literally, I'm stood there and I'm like looking down the lens of the camera. I'm like, I've watched World's Strongest Man on TV for years, and I'm now going to be one of those people. And that was probably the only moment where I felt really sort of overwhelmed with it all. But I got off to a decent start, 3rd place. Not too bad in my first attempt, and then I ended up 3rd in my group. In my first year, I missed out on the final by half a point, which I was very disappointed about. And I remember the organisers coming up to me, "Oh, you've done so well," because all the other Brits at that time were coming last in their group. So they were like, "Oh, finally we got a decent British guy." So anyway, I just missed out on the final. One of the organisers come up to me, he's like, "Oh, don't stress yourself out. You've had a great first year. Not many people make the final in their first year, and many a great strongman's never made the final. So the final's top 10 out of the 30 guys that are there." And I remember it so clearly. When he said to me, "Oh, a lot of the guys, great strongmen, don't make the final." I was like, I will come back next year and I will make the final, and I will continue to do that until I'm ready to sort of call it a day. And I then went on and did it for 9 years in a row after that.
So what sort of age were you at then?
So I was 25 at my first
25.
World's Strongest Man, yeah. So in terms of strongman, that's relatively young. It's not
You're
super
a strong
young.
young man, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I
You're
looked
not really
45.
Your
but
strength, yeah.
Yeah, I was 25 but looked 45. I actually don't really look that much older now than I did then. So, yeah, I think strongman just ages you for some reason. But yeah, I hadn't developed the strength that obviously takes years to do. But, I was very athletic and had been a sportsman my whole life.
So you're 25. I mean, we're gym people, so we know, what it takes to lift a bit of tin in the gym. But, we see you on the stage and we see you doing the old, the fireman's carry, or, holding the weight and the axes and that sort of thing.
Yep.
It's, you didn't just learn that a couple of weeks before, did you? What sort of depths are you going to in a gym? What sort of exercise you're doing? What weight you're lifting? Give us a bit of an insight on that.
I mean, it's actually a lot different now. There's a lot of companies, obviously, as you know, you can get bits of strongman equipment. Back then, there wasn't really anyone, so you had to kind of try and get pictures or find out what the events are or work it out and then go to a local steel fabricator and make it. And by the end of my strongman career, I literally had a version of everything that I could ever come up against.
In a farmer's field or in a warehouse or something?
I literally had a unit on a farm down in Kent, and I used to pay £200 a month to rent this unit. It was a storage unit on a farm, and I had all my strongman equipment in there. Not much in the way of normal gym stuff. And then every Saturday and Sunday I'd go down there and practice the events that I had in the competition.
We'd class that as a boutique gym these days. In a farm in Surrey somewhere, we'd charge you £150 a day. There's a business plan there somewhere. Okay, right. So, but what was your, so we're talking about the training. I know you've deadlifted 400 kilos at
450 kilos
there
is
you
the
go.
best.
That's not bad, is it? That is not bad. But how do you get to that? I'll start at 300 and off we go. But what sort of training are we doing?
I mean, it was a little bit of trial and error. I think all of us probably know more now than we did when we were starting our fitness journeys.
Absolutely,
well,
yeah.
I say fitness journey. Strongman's not really a fitness journey, but when we start lifting and stuff, we know a lot more, sort of plenty of time down the line. When I started doing strongman, there wasn't really information out there. There wasn't coaches. There was none of it. So what it was, just trying to get as much information out of the older guys as you could, see what they've done, what worked for them. Kind of doing sort of a modified powerlifting program. Certainly for your deadlifts and things like that. That's how you do it. So you'd follow some sort of periodized training program, work your way up with sort of lower the reps, up the intensity just over a period of time, and then get to the end of it and then start again. But hopefully a little bit better than you started it before.
A couple of cups of coffee beforehand. Yeah, bit of a. Sniff of the hot style stuff.
I wonder what you were going to suggest.
Yeah, hang on, you know what I'm trying to say there. But the thing is, you are talking about gym work, for strongmen, and there's lots of people, as I said, that work out here. But there is a difference. We're seeing more athletic people, aren't we, in strongmen to where I watched it 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because obviously, I mean, at my biggest, I was 203 kilos, so I'm like
Not too shabby.
Yeah, I'm like 155 now, but yeah, at my heaviest, I was 203 kilos, and oddly, at 203 kilos, I was probably more athletic than I am now. Obviously, I'm an older man now, but I think it would probably surprise most people how well you could move. And some of the big guys, you know, they're a lot fitter and faster than you would think they are. But it has changed, it has evolved. Certainly the way the guys train now is a lot more focused on athleticism. The sport changes as well, but it's funny, if you actually go back and look at all the best strongmen over the years, and we're talking about the absolute elites, like top fives in the world every year, most of them have come from some other athletic background prior to that. So whether it's been Olympic lifting or some sort of thrower or, you know, rugby players, basketball players, most of the guys have come from some athletic background. So as big and strong as they are, probably the years of doing those athletic sports prior to it has given them a big advantage because, I mean, especially in a competition like World's Strongest Man, there's a lot of moving events. You've got to be able to move as well. You've got to be coordinated. You need to be fast. You don't really need to be fit, but you know.
I reckon you're very fast over 10 metres, but after that, we're all right, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, to be fair, I can barely walk these days. My knees are so bad. But
if you're a doorman in a nightclub, I'm going to get a head start before you catch hold of me. That's for sure.
I just look at you and go, oh no, my knee's too bad. I'm going to stay here.
I remember it was is it Akola, Magnusson? Those guys are stuck in my head. So they were really big in the game at the time, weren't they? So you were coming into it as they were coming out, were they? I guess.
Yeah. So it was the almost the Scandinavian domination for a few years. And Magnus Samuelsson, Sven Karlsson, Janni Virtanen, Jukka Ahola, all the Scandinavian countries, Finland, Norway, Sweden. They were dominating the sport for a while, and it then sort of moved more into the Eastern European sort of market. The sport got a lot bigger in those countries, so obviously the bigger the sport gets, the more people you get doing it. But they were still competing, so I was very fortunate. I always remember, obviously, Magnus Samuelsson was a big one, like that I remember, Sven Karlsson, and I was very lucky to compete against those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And actually, both those guys were extremely helpful for me when I first started. They gave me a lot of sort of information and help. When I was starting out, which, you know, it's invaluable.
I bet. I mean, to be on a podium finish at World's Strongest Man, there's a lot of graft that goes into it. Now, you're a delightful man now, still, and I know you're competitive in some things, but where was peak Terry? What age? You know, what competitions are we talking about?
So, I mean, 2011, which was the second time I come third. So, a little bit of a backstory about strongman. There was a point where the sport was divided in two, so there was two federations. Some of the best guys were with one, some with the other. The first time I came third at World's Strongest Man, there was a few of the best guys that weren't there. So there was always that question mark. The second time I did it was where everyone had come back together. So I was third at that point. So I was legitimately the third best in the world.
Nice.
And only behind Brian Shaw and Zadruna Savickas, who are probably the two best ever. So...
You've trained with Brian, haven't you?
Yeah, a number of times.
He looks even bigger than you. What is he like?
He's enormous. Yeah, he's enormous. He's like 6'8", and I mean, a lot bigger than me. So I look like a child standing next to him. But yeah, I mean, I think that was probably peak Terry, 2011 maybe. But then I actually had a couple of years after that where I got injured at World's Strongest Man, where I was actually probably slightly better. It was just unfortunate.
Right, so you said you're very, very competitive. Is there one thing that you know that, you know, I've got you fella in this, no chance. What's your favourite discipline?
I mean, it was probably the truck pull, was the big one. I generally knew that I was probably going to win that event.
I know you like eating a lot as well. You are a champion eater, aren't you?
I am extremely good at eating, even still now.
Ice cream or cheesecake? Which one is it? That's a difficult conversation.
Yeah, that's impossible to answer.
Sorry, but we're going truck pull. Yeah. Okay, so truck pull. How heavy is a truck?
I mean, it varies. I've pulled anything from a Hercules C-130 plane, which is a plane that's used for transporting tanks and stuff. I've pulled an Air Malta passenger jet that flies between Malta and London. But then we've done all sorts of things like truck pulls, and actually, weirdly, the weight's not always the difficulty. Sometimes things that are heavy are actually a bit easier to pull, but yeah, I've done some pretty cool things.
Can you pull anything that you go after, if you know what I mean? No? Easy?
You? Are you offering?
No, I'm not offering, mate. No. No, there's a few people that will be sticking around, that's all, Yeah. They're just trying to work it out. All right, so I imagine you're a big, strong fella pulling that sort of weight. The exercise that always sticks in my mind is is it the axes where you go really, really wide?
Yeah, so you have two.
Like the face and the pain must be awful.
Or you have the ones where you're holding the axes up, or you have the Hercules pillars where you have to hold them where they're trying to go
where it drops
outwards.
down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they are tough, yeah. One of them obviously is a lot about your shoulder strength, and the other is mainly grip strength, but it does obviously ache a bit everywhere else because it's trying to rip your arms out of the sockets. But yeah, I like both events anyway.
Yeah, I bet. So I know you mentioned Eddie Hall earlier. Actually, he said that you inspired him, which is great. He's gone on to do some good things. But you must inspire young people now in the industry. So have you got anybody that you're nurturing? Who's the next big person on the block? Have you got any insight to that?
I mean, it changes all the time, and it's difficult. But I think a lot of the guys, because we spoke a little bit beforehand, I currently work on Giants Live, which are the qualifiers for World's Strongest Man. I work on the commentary team, but I also work at World's Strongest Man. And basically, World's Strongest Man's run by a TV company. So it's more about the TV show than it is the sport.
Yeah.
So I'm basically the athlete representative. So I'm the go-between the TV people and the athletes in terms of if they need to make safety decisions for the athletes, or they want the TV people come up with the most crazy ideas sometimes, and they'll come up to me and be like, "Is this okay?" And I'm like, "No, you're out your fucking mind." That happens quite regularly, but yeah. So So I work on that. So I'm still quite heavily involved, but I think a lot of the guys, because of that role at World's Strongest Man, almost see me like a bit of a big brother, and obviously I'm always there to help any of them. But yeah, there's a lot of good up and coming guys at the moment, especially in Britain. We've got a few really good up and coming guys.
Yeah, but you enjoy that, and if anybody's involved in a sport, it's always good to go back in once you've had your time. So stick at it, absolutely. But I mean, you've got this coaching part in you, of course, as well. Can you spot anything out of anybody and say, you'd make a good strong man?
Who's the most stupid man in the room?
Yeah, who's? Come on.
It's you.
Who's got the biggest hands? Quite frankly, who's got hands? Hands are important, aren't they?
Yeah, who's
got the biggest hands?
I mean, the thing is, it's a strange sport, and you have to be a little bit crazy to do it, because it's what I said earlier about, most of us go to the gym because we want to feel good, look good, all of those things, and it's a fitness journey. It's about health, whereas obviously strongman is more about the absolute extreme of what you can push your body to. So the fitness thing kind of goes out the window a little bit. It's not necessarily the best thing for your longevity.
It is extreme. You must absolutely battered your body. You had a few injuries, haven't you, actually? Yeah.
I've had a lot of injuries, torn both biceps, both hamstrings, one glute. I'm struggling with a knee injury to the point where I can barely walk most days sometimes. Shoulder doesn't work properly, but I wouldn't change it for a second. That's the crazy thing about it.
And drives a Mini. Could you believe it? Drives a Mini. What's going on there, Terry?
Yeah.
But, you spoke about the TV side. I mean, there was a time, actually, we've all watched strongmen, on around Christmas and New Year's time, but there was a time where you thought, actually, it might get a bit more traction. And we see other sports, like women's rugby now, has just gone through the roof. Brilliant. I really enjoy watching it. But why hasn't strongman had that? Where is it going to have its moment or not? Where is it going to get? Is it going to get regenerated? Or
I mean, you could say that the moment was first time Jeff Capes won World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
I believe, don't quote me on this, it was around about 10 million people watched that, which for British TV is pretty big. I mean, now if a show gets over 2 million views, it's really good. So maybe that was the moment, and maybe this is just the tail end. But I still think that the sport's got some legs in it, some growth. I mean, I think that much as a lot of people don't perhaps look at strongman and go, I'd really like to have a go at that, they can sort of enjoy the battles between everyone, the competition, and the entertainment of seeing people do some crazy shit.
Well, the fact is, you're watching people that you can't do what you see on TV. There are some big big gym fellas that probably think they have a go, but they can't, can they? It's a different kind of training. Why don't we see lots of strong men and women gyms? I mean, they're still, I hate to say it, but they still are the sort of dark and dingy places that not the regular gym goer goes to.
I mean, I
Why
think
not?
there's a number of reasons. Obviously, the genetics do play a part in it.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have weight classes and everything now. It's not just obviously the big heavyweights, but you don't maybe see the weight class athletes as much.
Nobody wants to see a slim, good-looking fella do a carry, do they? They want to
I
see the
always
big
say,
guys, like.
It's like you've got a strongest man competition, but you're excluding all the strongest men. It's kind of like having an Olympics 100-meter race, but we're going to exclude all the black guys.
Yeah,
like you're just the fastest white guy. It's like same thing. You're the strongest light guy. It kind of it doesn't have the same effect.
I don't think. I mean, if you look at other sports like bare knuckle boxing is increasing, but there's an edge to it. So maybe they'll start chucking an edge, another competitive element to it. I know you're doing arm wrestling now.
So I mean, obviously when I finished the strongman, I moved into bodybuilding. That was more just a personal challenge. Again, like I found that I'm someone that really deals well with or functions well if I have some sort of end goal. I don't know if any of you guys are like it, but sometimes when you're sort of going to the gym and you're just trying to train, it's very hard without a goal to just go in and really push yourself. You can go in and do a workout and do a bit, but it's not the same as when you've got that end goal. If I don't do this, I'm going to look like a tit in 12 weeks' time. So for me, that's a big thing. And that was why I sort of moved into the bodybuilding for a little while, just because I needed a new challenge. And I'd already got fairly lean by that point in my strongman career. And I was like, I just need to sort of push this a bit further and see where we can get to. And got on stage a few times, did okay.
So you were 203 kilos.
Yep.
You're about what?
156. I'm 156 at the minute. So
when you're all bronzed up over there, what are you there with your body fat next to nothing?
I was just a touch over 130 kilos on stage. So
nice.
Yeah, it was actually the heaviest I was when I did the Arnold Classic in 2023.
Have you met Arnold?
Yeah, a few times. He actually watched me pull a tank.
Did he?
Yeah, in Australia. I was on his Snapchat.
Be careful how you say
everything.
that.
Good times. Yeah. But no, so I was 134 kilos on stage when I did the Arnold Classic, which was the biggest I was on stage.
And that's got to be a big pat on the back, because a big fella like you, to get down to that sort of nick, that's a lot of hard work. Did you find that easier than the cutting or the strongman? What was the easier one?
I mean, it's weird actually, because a lot of people have asked me that, like, which is harder, bodybuilding or strongman? And they both have their difficulties, but I would say the dieting and stuff for the strongman was hard, and trying to force yourself to go to the gym low on energy. But then the strongman was hard in the respect that you're trying to force yourself to go to the gym when you're in pain. So it's like, it weirdly takes the same mindset. It's totally different sports, totally different goals, but you need to still have that fight in you to go, I am going to get off my arse and do this, even though I really, really don't want to.
Are you a solo trainer, or do you have people with you?
I train on my own. I'm quite happy to train on my own, always have been. I would quite happily train in a silent room, just lifting, just me on my own. I mean, I'm so like into it now. I mean, probably when I was starting it was different, but I'm at a point now where it's like, me going to the gym is like, I need to do this because I know that a lot of the rest of my life doesn't function as well if I'm not. It's very good for me mentally. I need to sort of exert myself, get the endorphins from training, and even I think that makes it easier to force myself to go to the gym, because I kind of need it. I know that I don't function well without it.
Don't we all? Absolutely. I enjoy an early morning workout. I don't fancy lifting 400 kilos at 6:30 in the morning, but no, a workout in the morning sets me off. But we were talking about future stuff. You're a good-looking fella. You speak well. What about the TV? Whenever I see you, I think, the film Snatch. I want to go, geez, you're a big fella. That's what comes into my head. There must be something out there for you in the movie world.
I know where you're going with this. Actually, weirdly, I work as a plus-size model for a men's clothing company.
Oh, baby.
So,
okay, right.
2XLs upwards up to 8XL. So, I've been doing that for the last few years, which is not something I ever thought I'd end up doing, but
Is there a picture of you in your underpants on the
there is
internet?
lots of pictures in my underpants.
There you go.
The good bit about it is though, it's like a diary of my sort of weight loss and weight gain. So you can see at what stage of like prep or whatever I am. Like some of them I'm really lean and got abs and everything, and some of them I'm extremely fat and out of shape. So yeah,
it happens, mate. Don't worry. I think
Yeah.
that's being over 40. I think that's the way that goes. All right. So we might see you in a little, movie here and there. You never know.
I filmed a movie earlier in the year. Just a small part in a gangster movie. I don't know when it's going to be on, but it's going to be on Amazon.
Good guy, bad guy.
I was a bad guy. Yeah.
Bad guy, obviously. Yeah.
I was a bodyguard for a gangster, so
Handy.
yeah. Didn't have to speak really though, which is a good thing.
All right, so look, it's been wonderful talking to you. So you've got your modelling going, you've got your coaching going. Might see you in the movies. Is there anything else, over the horizon that we might see you doing? Are we going to get back into strongman? A bit of judging on that, maybe?
No, not the judging. I will still be involved moving forward. I've actually got my first arm wrestling match in June next year. So
arm wrestling, right? You're not going to do this slapping thing either, as well.
I'm definitely not going to do that. No.
Why would you do that?
I don't have enough brain cells to play with. It's no fighting, no slapping, no nothing. It's I'm ugly enough as it is. So.
No, don't do that. Absolutely not. Well, we're going to wrap up there because I want to make sure that if anybody wants to wander around and have a beer with Terry and ask him a question, really make sure.
We can do some questions if anyone really wants to.
Nice. Over to you, Rob.
If you want to ask Terry a question, stick your hand up.
Please don't be shy because that makes it awkward. If anyone's got a question, please fire them over.
Don't
care what it is either.
Can you remember what weight you were as a baby? That's question one. And question two, I'm thinking of like Jack Grealish here. He got his calves from his granddad. Where would you say you got your genes from? Two questions.
Okay, so I don't remember what I weighed when I was born because I was just been born, but I know I was 12 pounds 14 ounces when I was born, and I was 3 weeks early as well.
Big fella.
Yeah, so I was very large. My son actually was not much different. He was 4 weeks early, and he was 11.5 pound as well. So yeah, it runs in the family. I mean, I've got my mum and dad are both big people. My mum's 6 foot, and she'd hate me telling anyone this. She's got size 11 feet. My dad's not a lot smaller than me as well. So yeah, I come from a family of giants. So yeah.
As we've been talking about weight a lot today, at your peak, what calorie intake were you taking?
I don't know exactly. I know there was times where I was well up over 10,000. But just to give you an idea, when I'd already sort of come down a bit, so I wasn't like stage lean or anything like that, but I'd got relatively lean for strongman. That was when I decided to do my bodybuilding show, and I started prep on 6,700 calories, and I dropped 9 pound in the first week. So that'll give you an idea of kind of what I was at prior. I mean, generally it was 10,000 plus. That was kind of normal, and then there would be days where I'd go probably well in excess of that.
All the guys in here now have just heard, right, I can eat 6,000 calories tomorrow. Yeah. That's what I've heard. And we're okay. Not 10, but I can do 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because actually on bodybuilding prep, the lowest my calories got was 2,700, and people, like a lot of my friends that have competed in bodybuilding, they're like, oh, that's amazing. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to fucking die. Well, on 2,700 calories, I'm like, how can you survive on that? But that's like a normal sized man's food. But for me, I was literally like, I felt like I was going to die on that. Yeah, it was miserable.
Next question. Any hands in the air? James Smith, the man.
Abby's too shy to ask this, but what was your food like when you were eating that many calories? What sort of things were you eating?
So it was a bit of an evolution. So when I started strongman, it was kind of like the mentality of you've got to eat big to get big. You've got to, eat whatever. So all I used to focus on was getting sort of 400 to 500 grams of protein in, and the rest would just be whatever I felt like eating. So in the beginning, there was a lot of pizzas, burgers, all that sort of garbage. But that's how you end up at 203 kilos. So as I sort of progressed through my career, it sort of we all started to learn more about the sport and how, things we need to do. And towards the end, most of the guys now would be a lot of slow cooked meats, so it's easy to digest, slow cooked beef, things like that. lots of jasmine rice, lots of vegetables, lots of eggs. You know, it's trying to follow a diet plan where you can get a lot of calories in but eat healthy, good food, but still be able to digest it all without kind of feeling like you're, you know, full all the time and stuff like that. So it's kind of difficult because you need to get the calories in, and it's very difficult to do without eating some not so good food, but it can be done, and it's just trying to do the best you can. But yeah, I mean, it's still, even now at the point I'm at, I'm still probably eating 5,000 calories a day even now, and I just mess around doing a bit of arm wrestling and normal gym training. So yeah, it's...
What's your career highlight to date?
So I got a couple that really stick in my mind. Obviously, both the third place at World's Strongest Man were great. So when I went on my sort of journey of like bringing my weight down, was just after my son was born. Everyone's like, oh, he's done now. He's got so small. He's like, you know, he's too busy posing with his top off on Instagram now and what have you. You know, which I was like doing. I was in good shape, so I'm like, yeah, I want to show it off. But everyone was sort of like kind of doubting that I could still do it. And then within the space of a year, I come second at Europe's Strongest Man, third at Britain's Strongest Man, which obviously is not as good as Europe's Strongest Man. And I won Masters World's Strongest Man, so the over 40s, which I was up against a lot of World's Strongest Man competitors. Probably those three, because I think the biggest thing for me was the relief that I could still do it, and I proved to myself, but also to shut all the negative naysayers up. Oh, he can't do it, he's got lean now, and I was like, I can still do this, and I'll show you. Yeah. It's yeah, but I mean, obviously, like I said, I mean, the 2/3 at World's Strongest Man were good, and winning Britain's Strongest Man obviously will be great highlights, but yeah, probably those.
Any more hands?
Oh, right the way in the corner.
Get your cardio in.
Yeah, come on. Let's go, Rob. Come on. Chop, 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 chop.
How much was your weekly shop?
I don't actually know because I shop so frequently, even still now, but I actually remember one year at Easter, I get a knock on the door.
Delivery man must be hench.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, I get this knock on the door at Easter time, and I'm like, open the door, and I see this massive box on the floor. I'm like, what's this? Like, and that was when I was with my boy's mum. We've since separated, but anyway, I was like, oh, what's this? What you ordered? She's like, I haven't ordered anything. Looked at it, it's addressed to me, and I'm thinking, the bloody hell's this? Okay, I haven't ordered anything. I'll have a look. Get it inside, open it up, and it's the fucking biggest Easter egg you've ever seen in your life. And I'm not joking, it's like, the egg was actually that big. This round, and it's personally addressed to me, like actually written on the egg, oh, thanks for your custom, Terry. And I'm like, who's got me this? So then I start looking through the paperwork that's with it. It's from Just Eat. And because I'd spent so much money with them, I got this Easter egg gift. And so I was like, Jesus Christ, have I really spent that much? This egg must have cost a couple of £100. So I started looking into it, and over the space of 6 months, I'd spent, the lowest amount I'd spent in a month was £1,000. And that's obviously with, you know, all my shopping and my normal food and eating out on top of that. So, yeah, I dread to think, but it was a lot.
Good skills.
The Easter egg was good, though. It was good. And I ate it all.
Any more? Any more hands up? I can't see any over here. Are we done? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Terry Hollands.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys and girls. Really appreciate you listening, and hope that wasn't too boring for you, but I really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your night.